To Can I Help You Cook? I am so excited that you decided to join us today. This is our second episode, and I'm super excited. Today, we will be making um, chicken and waffles, yams, as well as banana pudding. Before I even get started, let me give a shout out to my girl Ashley Day for creating my apron today. It says, the creator of culinary culture, and that's exactly what I am. I am the creator of culinary culture. I am Tia Gillum Wilson. I am an entrepreneur. I am an author, and I am a teacher. And I love to cook, and that's why we're here today. So before we even get started with the cooking, go ahead and tell us where you're joining us from. And we're so glad that you're here. Last week, our video got 1.2 thousand views or something like that. So I'm super excited for those of you who have joined in. Feel free to share and let other people know to come into the room too, so I can help you cook. So just a little bit of backstory about how I got started cooking. I've been cooking since I was 8 years old. I love to cook. It's a stress relief for me. It's one of my passions. I greatly enjoy it. And in 2017, I wrote my very first book called Can I Help You Cook, which is this book right here. And it's about a little girl helping her grandma cook. And my daughter Taya was the vision behind this book. She was inspiration. She actually came in the kitchen one morning when I was cooking on a snow day, and she said, "Mommy, can I help you cook?" And just like that, those words came to me, and I ran and sat down and I wrote the words out to this story called Can I Help You Cook? And in this book, there's some of my family's favorite recipes. We cooked a few of them last week. So it has collard greens, green beans, pinto beans, macaroni and cheese, chicken wings, lemonade, buttermilk biscuits, and honey bun cake. Last week we did air fried chicken wings. Today we're going to actually do some real fried chicken wings, all that good fat. And then the second book that I wrote was called Can I Help You Cook Too? Which is about a little boy helping his Gigi cook. And my inspiration behind this book was one of my good friends and my sister Cricket, and her grandson Amari, who's great friends with Taya. They're actually a few months apart. Amari was born in May, Taya was born in August, and they're raised like sisters and brothers. And Cricket's daughter Ashley is the one who created my apron for me. Like I said, I'm the creator of Culinary Culture, and if you want one, feel free to hit her up. She is on Facebook. Ashley, if you're watching, go ahead and comment so people will know how they can go about getting one of these lovely aprons. Being the creator of Culinary Culture, you can join in and be one with me too. And in this book, some of the recipes which we made last week were cabbage. It has baked chicken, cornbread, potato salad, yams, which we're going to make today. Cornbread and fried cornbread, sweet tea, banana pudding, which we're going to make the banana pudding today too, and pound cake. Last week, when we ended the show, I incorporated a survey in that show, and the survey was really good feedback. As a teacher, I know the importance of giving feedback to my students, and I took everybody who gave me feedback, like I really appreciate it, and I took the information that you gave me to help make this show better. And one thing, Cynthia Fawcett she suggested that I give people the ingredients ahead of time so that they can cook along with me too. And so I did that this week, and I hope there are some people at home who are cooking along with me. And speaking of cooking along with me, one of my mentors, Dr. Johnny Cruz Craig, who I love so much, she gave me the idea of having a guest chef at some point. So if you're interested in being a guest chef, comment in the comments that you'd like to be a guest chef, or hit me in my DMs, or you can send me an email to canihelpyoucook@gmail.com and let me know you want to be a guest chef, because I would love that. I love collaborating with people, and I think that would be a fabulous thing to do, is to have a guest chef on sometime. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start off by making our yams. Be sure that you follow us and like us on Instagram, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it out with people. I would greatly appreciate it. So we're going to start out making yams today, and I'm going to have to maneuver my camera. Hopefully at some point I'll be able to get another camera so I can do different angles in my kitchen. But we're going to make our yams, and I went ahead and I pre-boiled my yams this morning, and so they would be tender already. So you're going to wash, the first thing you would do is wash your sweet potato, and so I did that. So I'm going to peel them. They're really tender. When I say tender, I mean you're able to stick a knife through them. So if you can stick a knife through them like this, you're good. So you're going to take your sweet potato and you're going to peel all the peeling off. And then you're going to put it in your pan. And I just got an aluminum pan. I'm all about finding ways to make cleanup easier. So I just got the aluminum pan. So once we're finished with them, we can put them in the recycle, toss them right on out. And I have to worry about washing a bunch of dishes. And when you have leftovers, they store very well in the refrigerator. So we're going to peel our potatoes. And I went ahead, I set my oven to 350 degrees. So that's what you would do. Go ahead and preheat your oven. And the recipe, I said 8 sweet potatoes. You don't have to use 8 sweet potatoes. It's totally up to you, like how many people you're feeding for. Depends on how many sweet potatoes you would get. Also, when I cook sweet potatoes, if I have some left over, I feel like I've turned into the generation before me, and I am big about freezing my leftovers so they don't go to waste. So I will freeze some of my leftovers in a minute, and then when somebody wants them, you just go to the freezer and pull them out and warm them up, and bam, it makes life so much easier for you. So I'm almost finished peeling my sweet potato. I think I got 2. No, I just got 1 more to go. Okay. So I'm peeling my sweet potatoes. And after I peel my sweet potatoes, I'm just going to take my knife and just slice them. So let me see if I can maneuver my camera so you can see. I'm just going to slice them like this where there'll be little circles. And they do not have to be perfect. Just slice them up like this. And these, some of them got a little more tender than what I would like, but it's okay because they'll still get eaten up. And you know, always if you make sweet potatoes and you boil them and they become too tender, you can always make a sweet potato casserole with them, which is amazing. You can top it with some with brown sugar, pecans, and oatmeal. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay, so we have our sweet potatoes like this. We're just gonna leave them like that. And up next, we're gonna make our sauce for our sweet potatoes. So for your sauce for your sweet potatoes, you are going to need sugar. You need white sugar. You need brown sugar. I'm turning the camera back on me. Maybe one day I'll be able to have a real technical camera person. That'll be awesome. But you're gonna need butter, brown sugar, white sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg if you want. While I use nutmeg on occasion, I'm not a big fan of nutmeg, so I don't think I'm gonna be using any nutmeg today, and that is perfectly okay. So you're going to take your stick of butter, and you're going to melt your butter in a saucepan on like medium high heat. You don't want it to cook too fast because if you cook it too fast, your butter will burn, and it'll make your yams taste, nasty and scorched, and we don't want that. So you're going to put your butter in the saucepan and let it melt. And to that mixture, now on the recipe, I do say use 2 cups of white sugar, and then a cup of brown sugar. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't measure a lot. The only time I really measure is when I'm baking a cake or when I'm making bread. If I'm cooking like greens or yams and stuff, I don't measure. I just go by my eye. I just pour it in there and I'll be like, okay, that looks like it's enough, and then I'll stop there. You also need vanilla flavoring, which I forgot to get out of my cabinet. Let me see. Might be on the other side. Hold on. Yep. And you can use the imitation vanilla flavoring if you want to, or you can use the real deal vanilla flavoring. I know vanilla flavoring, the cost of it has gone up though. It used to be inexpensive, and then one day I went to BJ's to buy some, and it was like $20 some for a bottle. I was like, OMG. But so we're gonna go ahead and start making our sauce. So my butter is melting, and I'm gonna go ahead and put some of the sugar in here now. I'm just pouring in some brown sugar. And then I'm going to pour in some white sugar, some granulated sugar. And I know that's a lot of sugar. It looks like diabetes waiting to happen, but it's going to be really good. And I'm going to add some cinnamon. And then I'm going to pour in the flavoring. And I'm going to let that melt down. And then I'm going to add some water to it, and it's going to make like a syrup, and we're going to pour it over top of the sweet potatoes so they can cook and become candied yams. Go ahead and put some water in my measuring cup. Just pour it in here. And just let that cook until that butter is melted all the way, until all the sugar is dissolved. And I will pull my camera over and let you see inside of what it looks like. So the butter is melting and our syrup is forming. Move it back. Thank you, Ken and Kendra and Casey for tuning in. I can see y'all's comments popping up. Thank y'all so much. Feel free to share this video out. Ken is my next door neighbor, or used to be my next door neighbor back in the day when we lived in Morgantown. And Kendra is one of my former co-workers, and she's an amazing teacher. Thank you so much, Kendra, for joining. Casey was one of my schoolmates. We went to elementary school together, middle and high school, and she's also an awesome teacher. So we're going to let this finish cooking, and then when it does, I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit because I'm not worried about the butter burning since I added the other ingredients in. So we're gonna turn it up a little bit, and then we're gonna pour it over top of the candied yams once this butter is finished melting. While that's doing that, I'm gonna throw away my peelings, and I'll be right back. So usually when I cook, the kitchen looks like a war zone, looks like a bomb exploded. So I'm trying to get better with cleaning as I go so I don't have that issue. So this is almost ready. And what makes your yams pop is that sauce. It's all about the sauce when it comes to yams. You want to make sure it's good and sweet, but not too sweet. You want to make sure you have it right with your seasonings. If you want to, or your spices, if you want to put cinnamon and nutmeg in it, you want to make sure you got some good vanilla. Some people even put like a little bit of ginger and cloves in theirs, but yeah, I don't know. Got a little bit of this butter left to melt, and what I think it'll be okay if it's not all the way melted, it's just close to being melted. So I'm going to show you what the sauce looks like. Dragging the thing over, and so you can see the sauce. And we're going to take this sauce and we're going to pour it onto our yummy yams. So I will station the camera right there so you can see the sauce being poured onto the yams, or onto the sweet potatoes to become candied yams. So we're going to pour the sauce in. We're going to make sure it gets on all of the sweet potatoes. Okay, and I'm going to take my spoon and, make sure that eye is off first. I'm going to take my spoon and just make sure all the sweet potatoes get covered in the yam sauce. And then I'm going to put these in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. And let them cook. Okay. So our yams are cooking. And then the next thing we're going to cook, I got sweet potatoes stuck in my neck. So the next thing we're going to make is fried chicken. And chicken and waffles go very well together. I used to love going to DC, and one of my favorite places to go was Gladys Knight's Chicken and Waffles. And I looked forward to going and getting me some good old chicken and waffles and yams and collard greens. They just go so well together. I got to grab some other refrigerator that I forgot to take out earlier. Whoop. forgot to take my eggs out. So when I make my fried chicken, I use I make a batter with and um, buttermilk and egg first to dip it in, and then I use House of Ardry chicken breader as well as flour and my different seasonings to season my chicken with. I keep in this camera gonna have it out today. Let me tighten this thing up a little bit. Okay, maybe to get it together. All right, there we go. That's better. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and make my batter with my eggs and my buttermilk. Now, depending on how much chicken you're cooking, will determine how much buttermilk and egg you should use. So today I'm going to use like 3 eggs, and then I'm just gonna pour some buttermilk in until I feel like it's enough. So you're gonna crack open your eggs, and I'm using 3. And then you're going to or beat your eggs. And I'm just gonna grab a fork and beat my eggs. Turn it over here. So I'm just gonna take a fork and beat the eggs. And then I'm going to add some buttermilk to the egg mixture. Or to the eggs, to the beaten eggs. Add some buttermilk. And I'm not even measuring, just pour it in here. But make sure I at least have my 2 cups for my waffles. So, gonna mix this up. And if you want to, you can actually sprinkle some of your seasonings in your dip. And I have already washed my chicken. And I have some whole wings, and then I have the drum and the flat too. And remember, when you cook your chicken, you can use whatever seasonings you like to use. I'm going to use some Old Bay. I have Lawry seasoning salt. I have Goya. And then I also have some garlic and herbs. So I'm going to sprinkle it over top of my chicken. And then I'm also going to put it in my batter. Because the key to some good meat is making sure it's seasoned right. Nobody wants unseasoned meat. Okay. And I love Old Bay seasoning. Like, I use it on my chicken, on my fish, and my ground turkey. I love it. Make sure that the chicken, every piece of the chicken is seasoned. And let that sit for a few minutes, and then I'm going to make my batter for my chicken. And the batter I'm going to use for my chicken, like I said, I'm going to use the House of Ardry chicken breader. And then I'm also going to mix it with a little bit of flour. And I'm using some all-purpose flour. I'm only going to use a little bit. Put it in here. And then I'm going to mix it all up. And that's what we're going to use to coat our chicken. And I think I forgot to mention to go ahead and preheat your deep fryer. If you're using one or if you're cooking your chicken on top of the stove, go ahead and heat that up. So this is what the mix looks like once it is mixed together. And you can see the seasonings from the actual seasoning. And then I'm going to mix in a few more seasonings just to make sure my chicken has some flavor. And mix that up. All those seasonings smell wonderful together. All right, so I have my deep fryer on. I had that preheating already. And I'm going to dip my chicken into the batter and then dip it in my fire. You hear that grease? That's how you know your grease is ready. Like I had some water on my hands. Whoops. I had a little water on my hands and I just dipped it into, not dipped it, I just flicked some of the water into the grease to make sure it's ready, and it's ready. So I'm going to put my nice little deep fryer and put it on there so you can see when I put the chicken in. But all right, so we're going to take some of the chicken and put it in our batter, in the wet batter with the buttermilk mixture. And then we're going to dip it. So right now, I've got a few pieces of the chicken. You can see, I got a few pieces of chicken in the batter, and I'm going to put it into the seasoning, and then I'm going to put it in my deep fryer. And normally I would use a Ziploc bag so your hands don't get as messy, but it's okay if you don't use a Ziploc bag and you do it the old-fashioned way and just do it this way, that's fine. Put some of the chicken in. And you can hear that good old sizzling. And you want to make sure when you're cooking chicken, but when you're cooking chicken, if you're cooking fish, if you're cooking potatoes, anything that requires grease, you want to make sure that you are using some good hot grease. So we got one batch of our chicken is frying. And we're going to cook it until it is golden brown. I'm actually going to cover it up a little bit. Clean it out. All right, so we're going to let that cook. And I'll cook this other chicken shortly. Go ahead and put some of the spices and things away. And the next thing we're going to make is banana pudding in just a second. Be sure to like and follow us on Instagram. Like my Facebook page. Can I help you cook? And be sure to subscribe to YouTube. YouTube channel is Can I Help You Cook? You can get there by going to bit.ly / Can I Help You Cook? And it'll take you straight to the YouTube channel where you can subscribe and you can watch last week's episode where we made air fried chicken wings, cabbage, macaroni and cheese, and honey bun cake. I'm going to get rid of some of this extra stuff that I have out so we can get ready to make our banana pudding. And I know earlier I wasn't going to cook the banana pudding, but I went on and decided to throw it in there to make it so we can have a dessert for today as well. So your ingredients you're going to need for your banana pudding are, so let me do a disclaimer. This is a little cheap banana pudding. It's not the homemade, like, where you cook the pudding and all this stuff. We're not cooking pudding, but this is some banging banana pudding, and it's simple and it's easy. Um, so speaking of banana pudding, what is your favorite dessert? Go ahead and type in the chat box what your favorite dessert is. And while you're typing in the chat box, make sure you share this video so your friends can join in, especially those who love banana pudding. Now, here's another thing with banana pudding. I really could eat the banana pudding without the bananas. I say banana pudding. I say bananas don't go in banana pudding. Cookies and pudding are even better. So, what do you think? Do you think cookies? Do you think bananas belong in your banana pudding, or do you think it's best when they're left out? I wish y'all could smell this fried chicken, and you'll see it shortly. But I need to flip some of it over. And the chicken is a nice golden color. All right, we'll let it finish cooking. Okay, so let's get back to this banana pudding while it's just sitting there instead of shit on it real quick. Sorry. Okay, so for your banana pudding, you're going to need a box of instant Jello vanilla pudding. Some people use banana pudding, but I actually like the vanilla. You're going to need some whole milk, and I just grabbed the Food Lion brand. When I drink milk, I don't drink the Food Lion brand. I like the Fairlife milk, and I like it because it has less sugar and it also has protein. So when I drink milk, that's what I drink. You're going to need some Cool Whip. So we're going to add Cool Whip to our pudding mixture. And you're going to also need a can of sweetened condensed milk. I have the Eagle brand milk kind because that's what I like. Um, so the first thing you need to do is measure out. So you're going to you're going to make your pudding according to the packet or to the directions on the package, which say to mix 3 cups of cold milk and then the pudding. And like I said last week, you know, I'm gonna use my good KitchenAid mixer. I love my mixer. I've had this thing since forever, probably since like 2004, 2005, and it has never let me down. And we're gonna knock on wood that it don't let me down now because I've had it for years. Um, but I love my good KitchenAid mixer, and that's what we're going to use to make our pudding with. And one of my good friends, Karshina Ingram, I don't know if she's watching, but I gave her my pudding recipe years ago, and she was like, "But mine didn't come out like yours." I really think it's the mixer is what makes your pudding pop because it gets everything all mixed in together. Um, Still got to come back and check on my chicken. Cause I'm like that lady on the help, you know, Minnie don't burn no chicken, and that's me, I ain't burning no chicken. So I had to keep a check on it. So, in your measuring cup, you're going to just get a good glass measuring cup like this. You're going to add 3 cups of milk. And like I said, this is a really simple recipe. So if you have the taste for some banana pudding, but you don't have the time to make the cooked banana pudding, this will serve you just right. So you're going to take this and you're going to put it in your mixer. And to that, you're going to add your box of pudding, the instant Jello pudding. Before I do that, I gotta take this chicken out because it's. So I'm gonna get a pan and a paper towel. Take them up and drain some of that grease off. And I'm gonna unplug the fryer. I'm gonna let that grease drain off there for a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. So we're going to mix up the milk and the pudding. So I have that in my mixer. I took my little attachment tool off my mixer and did something with it. That's why it's like that. Alright, and then next, in that pudding mixture, we are going to add the can of Eagle brand milk. Now this banana pudding recipe is my mama's recipe. Um, Make sure all that goes in there. And then we're going to add in some Cool Whip. to our mixture. This is going to make your pudding super creamy. I'm just going to take this off for a second, and we're just going to dump this in. Put that back on. Then I'm going to get the rest of this out. The grease is still hot from some chicken, and it's okay because I'm going to fry some more up in a little while. So you're going to get all that in there. And you're going to mix it. Or you can fold it in. So I'm going to take my phone off of here for a second. Maybe. I can get it off. And then you can see what it's looking like as it's mixing in. And let that mix together until it's smooth and creamy. And then, hey Leslie, so glad you're here. Alright, so we got that. And I'm going to grab another pan to put that in. Because like I said before, the less cleanup, the better. So we're just going to use a good aluminum pan. And we're going to layer our ingredients for our banana pudding. Now, as I stated before, I personally prefer a banana pudding without bananas. So we're not going to use a whole lot of banana pudding in our, we're not going to use a whole lot of bananas in our banana pudding. We're going to have more cookies and pudding than anything. But we will put some bananas in the banana pudding. Gotta wash my knife off real quick. All right, so our first step is to layer our pudding with vanilla wafers, and station it like this so y'all can see. Trying to get a good angle. Go back this way. Okay. Trying to get it at a good angle. So we're gonna take the cookies. And we're just gonna layer them in the pan. And it's okay if they're broken, but they're gonna break anyway when you eat it. So it's all good. Alright, so we got a layer. And then we are gonna put some bananas in here. And truthfully speaking, if I were making this for myself, I would probably use just one banana. If I would use that. So we're going to cut up the banana, a part of the banana, and I might use more than one banana just because for today. We're just going to cut up the banana and put it in. And then we're going to take our pudding mixture and we're going to pour it in and spread it around. Like I said, this is a super easy way to make banana pudding. Super quick and easy way to make banana pudding. When you want banana pudding, you're in a crunch and you don't want to go through all the hassle of cooking a banana pudding. I'm going to add more wafers, and you're basically going to do this until it runs out, until you run out of ingredients. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can layer them like, you know, if you want them. You can just put them in here like this, like I'm doing. We'll put some more banana in here, maybe like a half of one this time. Even though bananas are good for you, they help you if you have cramps and stuff. All that good potassium. And then we're going to pour some more. I'm actually just going to pour all the rest of this. In here and spread it around. Now this recipe is in my second book, Can I Help You Cook Too? And then on top of this, you're going to put more vanilla wafers or more vanilla wafers. And so I'm going to use all the rest that I have with the large ones, but then I also have some small vanilla wafers to garnish it and make it look cute. Sometimes I have a little bit of OCD when I'm cooking, and I like things to be equal. I like it to be equally proportioned. I'm sprinkle those crumbs on there, and then I'm gonna use the mini ones to top it off. Like I said before, I like to have more cookies in my pudding, more cookies and pudding than anything. Why is this bag so hard to? I'll show you that. All right. And I'm just going to take these and put them over top of here, because on top of this, I'm going to add a layer of Cool Whip. So I have another big thing. Some people put meringue on top of theirs when they cook their pudding. But like I said, I don't cook pudding. I go the easy route and do a quick, simple, and easy, yet delicious. So we're going to take this Cool Whip, and on top of the cookies, we're just going to spread this Cool Whip. And then I'm going to take some of these cookies and I'm going to crumble them up and put them on top. I'm just going to crumble what's left in the pack. I do have a Pampered Chef chopper that I could have used. That's probably a bit easier than doing it this way, but it's all good. And you might have some big pieces, you might have some smaller pieces, but it's okay. And just sprinkle it over the top of the Cool Whip. And I'm going to have to scoop my fork. I thought I made a mess in here, y'all. But it's okay. Alright. And so that is our banana pudding. So far today, we have made yams. We have fried chicken. And we made banana pudding. The last thing we have to make is waffles to go with our chicken and waffles. I gotta take this because I didn't finish taking it out. But I'm gonna take this chicken. Oh. Put some paper towels down to catch this grease. And we've got some nice golden brown fried chicken. Let me show y'all before we start. So there's our fried chicken, or some of it. I gotta fry some more, but there's some. All right, so now we're going to start making our waffles. And to make your waffles, you're going to need some all-purpose flour. You're going to need buttermilk, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. Rinse out my mixing bowl. I actually have two KitchenAid mixing bowls. One of them is actually my mama's. Don't tell her I got it, but if she's watching, I guess she'll know. All right, so we're gonna make our batter for our waffles. Did I take it out? All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is to put 2 eggs into our mixing bowl. And this, I like this recipe because it's just use just one bowl to make your waffle. Now, when I taught second grade, we would study the properties of matter. And when we did our properties of matter unit, I always made pancakes with my students because when you're cooking, you go through all the states of matter. You get to see, a liquid. You get to see solids becoming liquids, and then you get to see all that turned into. You see the gas coming off of it when you're cooking. So I actually made pancakes for the entire second grade. I didn't have to buy all the ingredients though. Like the parents and some of my coworkers provided ingredients, but it was a lot of fun. I love giving my students opportunities. As a teacher, I like doing different things, and those are some of the things that my kids remember is me cooking with them as their teacher. So we're gonna lightly mix the egg, and then we are going to. I'm trying to get this camera situated, but y'all can actually see, but you really can't. We're going to mix. We need 2 cups of buttermilk. And into those 2 cups of buttermilk, you're going to put a teaspoon of baking soda. Just 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now I love this Good Pampered Chef measuring spoon. If you know anyone who sells Pampered Chef, I really suggest that you invest in one of these. It's an amazing tool to have because this one, while it's a whole tablespoon, it has the options of you to move up to the sizes of a teaspoon. So you're going to take a teaspoon of baking soda and you're going to mix it in your buttermilk. And see, this is science because when these two are together, they form a gas and it's going to make some bubbles and it'll make your baking soda or your buttermilk mixture rise if you were to keep it in there long enough. But we're going to pour it in here. And then we're going to mix it. And into this, you are going to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour. The reason we're using all-purpose flour and not self-rising flour is because we're using the ingredients that's going to make our mixture rise, which is the salt, the baking soda, and the baking powder. So we're going to mix 2 cups of all-purpose flour in here. We're going to mix a teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to mix 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And we're going to add a little bit of sugar. Sometimes I omit the sugar because, of course, it is going to have syrup on it, which is already sweet. But I'm just going to put a little bit of sugar. Okay. And we're going to mix this. Now, one key to making good pancakes and waffles is to let your batter be a little lumpy. It doesn't have to be all the way smooth. And then we're going to add in a little bit of oil. The recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of oil. So I will mix in, it says to fold it in, mix it in, whatever. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of oil. 1, 2, 3. Mix that together. Okay, that's good. And then while that is mixing, we have to heat up or turn on our waffle iron and let that mix. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I always mess up when I'm making waffles because I put too much batter in and then it spills all over onto the counter and makes a great big mess for me to clean up. Like you think I have that down pat in knowing how much to put in, but it's all good. All right, so we got our waffle iron preheating. And if you don't have a waffle iron, you can always make pancakes on a griddle or on top of the stove. But I got that heating. And while that's heating, I'm going to grab me a sip of water because I'm a little thirsty. And it's hot in here with this oven on. And speaking of oven, I'm going to look in here at my yams, and they are cooking so nice and lovely. All right, now I don't know what type of waffle iron you have, but my waffle iron, when the light turns green, it is ready. It's not green yet, though, so we got to wait a little while. And once again, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and like and share. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. So my waffle iron is warm to the touch, so it should be about ready. Oh, and it is. So we're going to open up our waffle iron. It's ready, got the steam coming off of it. And we're going to spray it with some non-stick cooking spray. And I'm going to try not to make a big mess today. But I can't make no promises. Put just a little bit more in here. And it's probably going to spill out. And it's okay if it does. And then we'll let it cook. A few months ago, I was invited to cook chicken and waffles for my cousin Holly for her birthday. Her husband David invited me to cook chicken and waffles for them. And we had like a little sip and paint type deal. And it was so much fun. And that's where I got the idea of making chicken and waffles for today's episode too. So, yeah, see, I told you it was going to spill out. It's coming out the side over here. So I'm going to have some work to do when it comes to cleaning, but it is okay. And when my waffle is ready, the thing I like about this waffle iron is you can set it to how dark you want your waffle to be. So when it gets to the correct temperature, it will open up. I mean, it will turn green. And uh-oh, I think this is sticking. And it did, which usually does not happen. So I guess I didn't put enough cooking spray on the top of this waffle. I'm going to put the waffle over here. Then I'm going to go ahead and put some chicken wings on top. And as you can see here, we have chicken and waffles. I'll take a picture of it shortly too. And I'm going to get some yams to plate on the side. So there you have it. We have yams, chicken, and waffles. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Can I Help You Cook? I look forward to seeing you next week. Same place, same time. Next week, we will actually be making some appetizers. My brother Daryl already sent me a message and he was like, hey, I need you to cook some of your steak and cheese egg rolls on your show one day. And I was like, okay, well, how about next week we just do appetizers that I'm going to make the steak and cheese egg rolls. We're going to have meatballs, sausage dip, thinking about making taco dip, and we'll also have some of my famous baked beans. So I hope to see you next week. As always, please complete the survey that should be rolling across the screen or in the comment section. The link is bit.ly/help_cook. If you can complete that survey, that would be awesome because I value your feedback and I take into account everything that you have to say, all of your suggestions. I take them into account. So thank you so much. See you next week.